I find the world of game development to be fascinating. I am not a developer. I am simply a layman, a rube, as it were. I just love gaming. So whenever the curtain gets pulled back, whenever someone on the inside shares details with those of us on the outside, I'm always keen to listen in. Sometimes what I hear is inspiring, and sometimes it's not. I found something recently that falls into the latter. I came across something on Game FAQs. It was a post made just over 60 years ago titled MTX Explained, and why we're pretty much screwed. I'm gonna let Jimmy, my AI, read it to y'all. I'll preface it though by saying I can't confirm who the writer is or who he spoke to, but I will say what he writes makes a damn lot of sense. Thanks again for watching.
I had the opportunity of speaking to someone who worked in Activision and helped the development of DLC for multiple Call of Duty games before leaving for another opportunity. I took the chance to ask them about microtransactions and whether they thought it was negatively or positively impacting the gaming industry, and I was kind of stunned how few people it takes to make microtransactions insanely profitable. They said that after GTA 5 came out and developers saw the huge success GTA 5 Online was having with their shark cards, it blew the industry wide open for everyone to try and find their own microtransaction system. They said Advanced Warfare was the first test case where they tried to implement loot crates, and they saw the huge potential. But it needed a lot of refinement. Eventually Black Ops 3 rolls around, and it was ready to be released with a good system and plan in mind. And microtransactions and loot crates were a huge profitable success. They said that the most astonishing part was how profitable these microtransaction schemes were by only having such small portion of player base buying into them. If at least a fraction spent money, less than 10%, it was unbelievably profitable. Not only that, but there was the 1% who spend astronomical amounts of money alone and made up the bulk of the profits. They gave accounts of single individuals who would drop over $10,000 on loot crates alone. Those were the extremes, but it goes to show how effective the system could by pulling people to drop anywhere from small fortunes to $60 here and there on a frequent basis. Because of those few people, we are where we are now. The problem is that unless the larger community understands this situation and refuses to buy the entire game outright, it doesn't really matter or make a difference if we just ignore the transaction system when we play. By playing, we become complacent and agree to a small percentage of people dictating the experience for the larger community. Games are no longer being made for people like us. They're being made for the few suckers that fall into the microtransaction system. But those few end up basically dictating the development of the entire game for the rest of us. To summarize, unless people stop purchasing entire games outright, and not just resorting to ignoring the microtransactions after buying the game, the small fraction of players who buy into these systems will always dictate that games revolve around a system of microtransactions. The only way for us to counteract the huge incentives these companies make by including microtransactions is by making them lose out on far larger amounts by having masses of people refusing to pay the initial $60 for the game in the first place. If not, we've got a dreadful future to look forward to in the gaming community.